Jon Stewart comes out and backs what's he doing? He backs Joe Rogan. He says that it's all an overreaction. Let's listen to what he said.
Say this. Don't leave, don't abandon, don't censor, engage. There's no question that there is egregious misinformation that's purposeful and hateful and all those other things. And
that's not Joe Rogan's show. Joe Rogan is not a bad actor. Joe Rogan is an earnest dude who does interviews with people from all across the spectrum. That's all it is. And they can't control him. And this is about control. But he ends up on the right side. But here we go.
And that being moderated is a credit to the platforms that run them. But this overreaction to Rogan, I think, is a mistake. I really do. He has 4-hour conversations, and they are expansive. And he may say some things that you think is misinformation, and he may platform people that you think are wrong. But to single that out as something so egregious as to have to be, I just don't. I think there are dishonest, bad actors in the world. And identifying those is so much more important to me. And I also think
it sounds to me like Jon Stewart is saying Joe Rogan is not a bad actor. He's not a nefarious dude. He's just a guy who got super popular doing a talk show.
But he lifts weights and I hate him. So
So here we go.
Times those grand gestures of I'm removing myself doesn't necessarily take into account, like, you're on Comcast, right? Comcast or Time Warner. So if you're on any cable station, right, they've got Fox News on. You telling me Fox News isn't a willful?
Okay, so this is where he's doing this like it's 10 years ago. We just lived through 5 years of MSNBC willfully lying and knowingly lying. You know, they're there to manufacture consent, all of them. And they willfully lied about the president of the United States, and they red baited anyone who was their enemy or their political adversary. And they made political adversaries into enemies. The people are disgusting, and they're always pro-war. And that's what that did. So I just want to quibble with him, pretending that somehow Fox News is more dishonest than Don Lemon or Chris Cuomo or Rachel Maddow or fake tough guy Lawrence O'Donnell. They're not. Or Joyanne Reed.
Did he watch the Jim Acosta,
right?
Tucker's a commie video?
Did you see that? I mean, their whole thing is if you stand up against war, you're a communist and you're in bed with Russia. That's what they're doing. So I get what he's saying. So he's going to say, well, I think he's trying to make the point of everybody who votes Democrat who wants to censor Joe Rogan, they agree that Fox News is odious and a bad actor, but every cable company carries them on their platform. So are we all supposed to now take ourselves off of every platform? That's what he's saying. That's his argument, which of course is a correct one. I hate that he had to use that as a thing. Anyway, because I disagree with them on that, but yeah, but other people can disagree with me. I don't want you censored. I don't want you censored if you think Fox News is a unique evil. I think they're all evil. Okay. So let's go back.
You telling me Fox News isn't a willful purveyor of misinformation, dishonest to its core? So now everybody on TV has to pull out of their shows or deplatform because in the same tube that you exist, they exist.
So there you go. So that was his argument was this is crazy, right? This is everybody has a right for free speech. And if you don't like their speech, you don't combat it with censorship. And you're not guilty by association. And the way you fight it is with better speech. And so Jon Stewart, thank God, he's getting it right again. So good for him. And it's good. It's really good. I was so happy to see him when he went on Colbert and made all those jokes about the lab leak theory and made Colbert scared. And so John's not afraid to get on the outs, get kicked out of the cult. He's not afraid to get kicked out of the Democratic Party cult. I think that makes him, that's why he's so good. I think he is good. And I think that's good. And, of course, I'm going to disagree with everybody about everything at something. And so I disagree with him on certain, but that was great. Well, let's keep going because he said that unlike some right-wing television hosts, Rogan is not an ideologue in any way and is open to being corrected when he's wrong. Stewart further called the outcry over COVID-19 misinformation on Rogan's podcast overblown rhetoric. It is. He gave the example of a recent episode in which Rogan battled with Josh Sepps over Rogan's claims that there is an adverse risk of myocarditis, an inflammation of the heart muscle, among 12 to 17-year-olds who received the vaccine. And why did Joe Rogan say that? Because he read studies that said that, because there are studies that said that. Now, they've been contradicted by other studies, and that's what Josh Sepps was saying. Stewart noted that Rogan acknowledged he was incorrect, which he did, about the effects of the coronavirus vaccine on children and young people. Don't leave, don't abandon, don't censor, engage, Stewart said. Yeah, Joe Rogan went with Josh Sepps. They pulled up the thing in real time, and they're having a conversation. That's how it's supposed to work. Wouldn't it be great if on a news show they fact-check themselves once in a while? Hey, is that really true? Stewart, the next recipient of the Kennedy Center's Mark Twain Prize for American Humor, added that he is more worried about the algorithm of misinformation than the purveyor of misinformation. Misinformation will always be out there, but if the algorithm drives people further and further down the rabbit hole, the algorithm is the amplifier and the catalyst of extremism. Again, I get what he's saying, but it sounds very slippery slope stuff is what he's talking about right there. According to Stewart, Rogan has power because so many people listen to him. The Conversation reported this week that an estimated 200 million people download Rogan's podcast each month. A growing number of musicians and content creators have joined Neil Young in boycotting Spotify, including Canadian songwriter Joni Mitchell and Nils Lofgren, a member of Bruce Springsteen's E Street Band. David Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young have also taken their music off the platform because they and now they're going to be selling reverse mortgages. So I just wanted to suppress free speech is a double wrong. It violates the rights of the hearer as well as those of the speaker. Who said that? Frederick Douglass. He said that, I think, right before the Civil War, when there were millions of people living in slavery in this country. Here's another one. He said, liberty is meaningless where the right to utter one's thoughts and opinions has ceased to exist. That, of all rights, is the dread of tyrants. It is the right which they first of all strike down. That's right.
Hasn't he ever heard of harm reduction?
So freedom of speech is always about protecting the dissident voices, the voices that are unpopular, the ones you hate. Again, popular speech doesn't need protection. It's the unpopular speech that does. I mean, if Kathy Griffin gets to talk, doesn't everybody get to talk? Come on. That's what I'm saying. Hey, we're doing live stand-up shows in Los Angeles, February 5th, February 12th, February 18th, February 20th, we're in Philadelphia, and then February 26th, back here in Los Angeles in Studio City at our 60-seat theater. Go to jimmydorecomedy.com for a link for all tickets, and while you're there, become a premium member, get access to all our premium content.